my new Stamparatus from Stampin UP. And so I just was really excited to share with you and show you what I was working on real quickly. So these two cute little cards were just two little things I was working on. And what I used the Stamparatus for is the little bows. And if you've followed me for a while, you know that I love wood mount stamps. And you probably also know that you can't use a wood mount stamp with the Stamparatus. You can only use the red rubber stamps or the photopolymer stamps. So this is an example of a photopolymer stamp. It's clear and it has no foam. There's no extra layer to it. You just mount it to your clear block, and you can use that with the Stamparatus as well as the red rubber stamps that are not mounted to wood blocks. So I have actually reordered a few of my wood mount stamp sets in clear mount just because I want to be able to try them out with the Stamparatus. But in the meantime, what I was doing is using the photopolymer stamps, and that's what this little bow is stamped with, is photopolymer. Now, the reason that I was using this, this is a placement tool. This aids you in placing your stamps in the perfect spot, is that this is a two-step stamp set. So the, oh gosh, I forgot to bring the stamp set over. Hang on, let me grab it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I can't show you the inside of the catalog yet, but I can show you the stamp set. So this is what the Picture Perfect Birthday stamp set looks like. And the two pieces that I used for this little bow are these two right here. And you can see, like, this one is, you know, just straightforward. It stamps a bow, very cute, not hard to stamp at all. But this little piece that creates these shadows in there is a little bit hard for me to get placed perfectly. And part of the reason is I do not have very good eyesight. I have worn glasses since I was 3 years old. And I also wear contacts now, and I wear glasses on top of my contacts, but it is still sometimes a little bit difficult for me to see perfectly. So I thought this new Stamparatus stamp placement tool is perfect for me for trying to line up some of those images that are a little bit difficult for me to use. So you may be in the same boat. You may need a little help with your stamping and perfect placement. So I thought maybe I would just show this to you and show you how it works. Now, it's not in either of the new publications that are going live on January 3rd. The Occasions catalog and the Celebration catalog. You won't find it in there, but you will find information in my latest customer newsletter and on my blog at pattystamps.com. As soon as this live video is done, I'm going to put a link up at the top of this video that links you directly to the information about reserving your Stamparatus. This will actually be coming out in the June 2018 catalog, but you can reserve one now, which is very exciting. So the Stamparatus is 8 inches square in the actual stamping area, and there are 2 clear plates. They both attach with hinges. You can use this either coming from the top down and the left side over, or you can flip it this way and you can use it over from the right side. You could even flip it this direction and come up from the bottom and go from the right. So it's totally flexible as to how you would like to use it. The reason that I thought I would use it this direction right now is that this is the way that the grid is printed, and it has the logo and the rulers. So if you are using your red rubber stamps that are normally mounted on a clear block, but you're attaching them to the plate, you would use this surface. If you are using the photopolymer stamps, which I am using, you have to add this extra little piece of foam, and that's because they don't have any foam like a red rubber stamp does. Now there are 2 magnets that it comes with. I'm keeping them very far apart because if they attach to each other, they are really hard to get apart. So don't get them close to each other. Okay, I'm gonna just put one over here and one over here for right now. You can store them on the back. So let's just stamp this bow and I'll show you real quickly how this works. I am going to go ahead and place my cardstock into that corner up here in this corner, and then I'm just going to put my magnets. You can slide them or pick them up and put them down, but I am just going to put one on the side, one on the bottom. The reason you need the magnets is when you go to stamp down with the photopolymer or the rubber, it tends to stick to the paper and want to lift the paper up, and of course you don't want that. So I have Flirty Flamingo and Real Red. Those are the 2 colors that I use to stamp this little bow. And you just open up your ink pad and you tap it right onto the stamp. I probably should have started with showing you how I mounted this here, but since it's already lined up, I'm going to go ahead and stamp it. And so then you just flip it over and you push down. And then let's see. Well, that stamped pretty good. If it didn't stamp quite right, the beauty is you can either just set it back down and push again, or you could ink again. But I'm going to show you mounting the, I was going to call him a penguin. Oh my gosh, that's so silly. The peacock. I'm going to show you how to mount the peacock on here and stamp it. So let's just go ahead and finish with the bow. So that was Flirty Flamingo, and then this piece that has kind of the definitions or the shadows is Real Red. Now, don't worry that ink went over here. It's not going to get on your paper. It's actually really kind of magical how that works. Oops, now it didn't get inked right there perfectly, so I'm just going to set it back down and push, and there you go. You have that shadow in the perfect spot. So then if you wanted to do something like this that I was working on, you can just either grab your scallop punch like I have on this one, or I die cut with the stitched shape circle on that one, and then I just mounted them onto the card. Before I go further, let me just show you so that I don't forget about this. You might be noticing these cute little scallops on the back. So we have these gold and silver metallic doilies. But what I did was I flipped this one over and I used my Bermuda Bay Stampin Blend and I colored the back of it because the back is white. So let me just show you. I can just do it right here. You do want to do it on scratch paper. I just did this and I colored the back of this doily so that I had a Bermuda Bay one that pulled out the colors in that card. So isn't that a fun little extra tip? I mean, it has nothing to do with the Stamparatus, but I'm just saying that's what I did. And I thought it was really cute. And this one would have looked cute with the paper, but it didn't go with the ribbon. So I didn't use the razzleberry one. But that's just an extra little tip for you with your Stampin' Blend. So with these plates on the Stamparatus, you just want to clean them off, and I just have one of those absorber cloths, and you just want to, all it is water, you just want to wipe it off and get it clean before you peel up the stamp and handle it and put it away, or before you stamp another one. And I just think this is wonderful for anyone who is having any kind of trouble lining up stamps, because now you can just keep, you could turn your paper around and you can stamp in another spot, or you could put in another scrap, and you can just keep stamping, and you know that this is going to be perfectly lined up once you have it lined up. I just think this is terrific for that. So that's basically the main reason that I am going to be using it. Now let's put in a new piece and let me show you kind of from the start, because I'm sorry I didn't really start from the start because these were already mounted on here. But what I'm going to do is just put this straight up, and you lift up and you flip, and you can put this right back down and you can use this surface. And I'm going to leave that bow on there because I'm going to stamp a few more cards with the bow, and I don't want to take it off. So this peacock is a celebration set, and it's a free set starting in January, on January 3rd. And all I'm going to do is set it down here and flip this plate down, press, and pick up. See, do you see how that lifted the paper? So if I didn't have those magnets on there, it would just lift the paper right up. So now I've got my peacock in place, and I am going to stamp the body of the peacock, ink it in Pacific Point. I'm trying not to push too hard so that I don't get ink all over the plate. I'm sure that this is a little bit of a learning curve with using this and stamping with it. So then you'll push down and you'll get the peacock body inked onto your paper. Now with the feathers, what I'm going to do is lay it down here, and I'm going to get it lined up. Hopefully. It's a little bit difficult without putting my entire head right into the camera. I think that's lined up because I'm coming from an angle over here. So we'll hope. Let's hope. If I was sitting at my desk and stamping without being live, I would have put my head right on top of that. In fact, maybe I can do, I think that's good. Okay. And again, that lifted up a little, but because I have it in this corner, I know exactly where that piece needs to be. I'm going to ink the feathers in Lemon Lime Twist. Would anybody else agree that this is just one of the best colors ever? And then we'll stamp it down and lift up, and it's perfectly placed. So I love this, that I can be assured now that I can stamp several of these all in a row and they will be perfectly lined up. Isn't that just like, amazing? I love that. This is why I'm going to be using this, is the two-step type stamping. This is probably my main reason. I also love the fact that if it didn't come out perfectly, I could just flip this back down and press again, or I could ink it again and press again if I needed to. Now the feathers, I don't really need this to be part of the placement tool because I can definitely see where those are going to be. So I'm just going to ink that with the ink pad and then just stamp that on. And then I have the feathers on there, and I could stamp it a few more times. I would take it off of here, but I could stamp those feathers a few more times if I wanted to. And then I have the peacock ready to go and put onto a card. So I just think this is pretty amazing. I'm loving this. There are several other things that you can do with this Stamparatus, and as I start using it more and making more cards, I'll definitely be showing you more things that I've been using it with. But I just wanted to pop on and see if you had any questions about it. Let me just see. Oh, okay. I'm reading some comments here. So one of the tips is to wrap a little washi tape around your magnet. And then if they get too close to each other and they attach, you can easily pull them apart. That is great. Thank you for that tip. And yes, the ink spots, thank you. Let's see who said that. Crystal says you could use the ink spots to ink the stamps. Most definitely, that would be fabulous so that you're not getting ink from a larger pad all over. So perfect, thank you for that. Oh, Christy, so glad you can't wait to get yours. So exciting. You know what? I should mention that the reason that I do have it early is because I was part of the design team that Stampin' Up! Has had for a couple of years. We've been giving input and voting on different aspects of this new product. So we were allowed to order it early and it shipped early to us. So that is why I do have it early. Now for everybody else, you can reserve yours through December 30th and it will ship this spring. If you miss that deadline, then you have to wait until it comes out in the new catalog in June. So if you want yours early, I would suggest definitely getting your name on the list. Again, I'm going to put a link up at the top of this video as soon as the video is done, and then you will be able to see how you can reserve that. So let's see, let's see, did I miss how it works? Geneva is asking, yeah, so I maybe you just will need to watch the replay because yes, I was demonstrating how this works. So just to store it, you've probably already seen this tip, but you just want to make sure that, I'm just going to clean those so I don't stamp onto my project, but you can store it with one plate on, but the other plate you would want to take off and just set it right here and store it. And it did come in a box, like an 8x8 or 9x9 box that you could store it in. I don't think I'm going to put mine away in a box. I think I'm just going to keep it out on my desk. I love that it's only about 8.5 inches square, so it doesn't take up a ton of space. I love that. And I should just mention that these cute little note cards that I was showing you earlier that I was working on for little birthday bag enclosures, these are the new little narrow white cards, and they're thick whisper white paper. They come with the envelopes and they're about 2.5 by 4.5. So they're really a cute little size. And then again, the stamp sets I was just using, Picture Perfect Birthday is in the Occasions catalog. If you don't have one and you don't have a demonstrator, let me know so that I can send you one of these. It starts on January 3rd. The dates are right on the back if you missed them. And then the peacock, I don't know why I keep wanting to call him penguin. My goodness, I have penguins on the brain, is in the Celebration catalog. And these are the free items you can earn between January 3rd and March 31st with each $50 that you spend in the US. And I know that's a different number in different markets around the world, but since I'm a demonstrator in the US, those are the numbers for the US. So let me check and see if you had any other comments. I don't see any other questions coming. Andrea says, show us the hinge step. Okay, I didn't. Let me see if we can do it with this one. That'll be fun. Let me see. So let me put this away. So the hinge step is something that Stampin' Up! Came up with. It's a name that they came up with. And it's where you can stamp the same image over and over right down the paper. So let me grab another piece, put it right here, put the magnets back on, because you definitely want the magnets on there. Let's see if it works with this one. Let me see. Let me check something, because I think they said if it's an inch. So this is an inch. Okay. All right, Andrea, let's see if this works. So if we do, gotta get that magnet right over there. Okay, so I'm gonna mount. Wait, am I doing this right? Okay, this is funny. All of a sudden I thought I was doing it backwards. That's so funny. Never mind. Never mind. Beginning user. Okay, so if we mount this stamp up here, let's see if this works. So let's try. Oh, I know. Let's do this. Let's try lemon lime twist first. Okay, so. Okay, Andrea, you know I'm being really brave just trying this live, right? Oh, okay, so it didn't stamp all the way, so let's push again. Let me just ink a little bit more. I think I'm being timid with inking it because I'm afraid to get the ink everywhere. Okay, that's much better. So now what you do is you lift this up and you bring it down 1 notch in the hinge. We're going to ink it again. I'm being very brave trying this. Okay, stamp it again. Oh, yep, see, I'm being too timid with the ink. So let's just give it some more ink. Stamp it again. Okay, one more time. All right, perfect. Now, here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this. And I am going to step it down again. And I'm going to try the Pacific Point on here. Okay, let's see. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. And let's do it again. Step it down. I'm glad you suggested this, Andrea. Okay. Did I get that? Yes, a little bit more right there. See, that is such a great feature of this, is that if you didn't get it perfect, you just set it back down and do it again. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move those up so that I can stamp one more time. Oh, how cute is this? Check that out. Isn't that a fun background? I love it. And I could have done every single one in a different color. That would have been really cute. A rainbow effect, or just one in a different color, or like one in red. Oh my gosh. Okay, possibilities are endless. So what do you think, Andrea? Did you like? Yeah, Andrea says woohoo. Yes, isn't that so cool? Pam and Kathy, and you guys are giving me thumbs up and hearts, and yay. I'm glad you like it. Yep, that is a totally cool feature of this product. So lots of good ideas with it, and there are other things you can do with it as well. One of the things I wanted to do is, you might have remembered some of the watercolor videos I was showing you with the brush show and whatnot. And I think that after those are stamped, it would be great to go back and re-stamp with the black on top of what I watercolored. So that's something that I do want to try with this. I think that's going to be a really neat feature of the Stamparatus, is to be able to overstamp on something. Okay, so any other questions? Let's see. Yes, you were a great influence. Thank you, Andrea. I love your comments. Okay, so across. So, okay, and Andrea is saying, so go across. So I'm just thinking, if it, did I clean this? I'm going to clean it before I pick it up. So if it were here, like say it were here, and you stamped, and then you picked it up, you'd have to go over 2 spots and do it, and then 2 spots and do it. So I think you could, I don't think my paper, I don't have a scrap of paper that's right here that's long enough, but I think you could do that. Possibly with a smaller stamp. If you had something a little bit smaller, you could repeat it left to right as well as up and down. But when you're doing it up and down like I just did, where I did it right down the page, any stamp image that is about an inch is what works perfect, because these are a little over an inch apart. The hinges, the holes for the hinges. Okay, I'll just stop talking because I don't know what they're called. Another thing that I do think this is going to be great for is, let's see, how about if we do, so if we stamped, if we wanted celebrate the good stuff and cue the confetti, where is cue the confetti? Here it is. Sorry, I'm reading backwards. So if we wanted those on the same card, one of the good things is that, let me see if you can see this. Can you see the grid marks on this? I'm going to wait for the video to catch up. I'm watching it over on my iPad. Yeah, I think you can see the grid marks. There are grid marks on here. So you could line up a couple of stamps on here and then ink it and stamp, and you would know that they are straight and lined up. Again, for me, that's going to be a big benefit because of not always being able to see exactly perfectly with my wonderful eyesight. I mean, I'm thankful that I have eyesight, but sometimes it's just frustrating when you can't exactly see everything perfectly. So, okay, I'm just checking to see if there are any other comments here on the live video. Oh, what am I using to clean my stamps? This is from the auto parts store, you know, like where you go get oil and that kind of stuff, and it's called an absorber. Let me just grab the package. So this is what it looks like, and it's a huge piece. I've got this is like an eighth of it or something that's just cut up. It's called the absorber, and it's basically, well, when I grew up, it was called a chamois, and it's what you use to dry your car. So when this thing dries, it's very stiff, and you just go get it wet, and you can see that it does stain. I've been using this quite a while. It does stain, but it just wipes off. It'll wipe off your plastic. It'll wipe off the stamps. And you can also, like if you just put it in a tray or something, you can also just use it this way to clean your stamps. It doesn't make a mess. It doesn't splash. It doesn't go all over. So I do like that a lot. Let's see, any other, are the grid lines etched? Lisa Marie is asking. I guess etched is the right word because, can you hear that? So yeah, I guess etched is the right word. Yes, they're ingrained in there. It's not printed. If that's what you're asking, it's not printed. So let's see, any other questions? Don't see any other questions. So I am going to let you go, but I was just excited and I just wanted to show you what I was working on, and I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to go hop over to my computer right now, put the link at the top of this Facebook Live. If you're watching this on YouTube later, I will have the link below where you can go and reserve one of these that will be shipped to you in 2018. So I guess I should have said I am filming this on December 26th. So if we're already into 2018, then this information will not be quite as timely. But anyway, so thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. You can check out my blog at pattystamps.com every day for fun stamping ideas, and hope you have a great rest of 2017, and I will check with you again. Thanks. Bye-bye.